Did it start? All right, man. We're live.
We did
Welcome to our first podcast, man. How you doing, Ashkan?
Good. How are you, Esteban?
Good, man. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
With the modelos.
Gotta do the beer.
And I would like to explain that our modelos are like this because we already started, but we had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
And it was totally not my fault, not at all. It is never my fault at all. It's always your fault. just so you know, to make that clear.
Very clear.
And hey, man, so we were talking right now, doing a real, let's say, introduction to what we're trying to do here. And this is our first podcast. I was just mentioning real quick that, like, we're trying to explore, we're trying to see what we can do with all this, social media boom, with all these different channels like the YouTube thing and everything else. And anyways, like, I think we had it going on a few minutes ago, but it's good to start over. I mean, startovers are always good.
Yeah.
Of course, man. So, man, tell us, man, how did we come together to start doing this from the very beginning, man?
So, I first met you at an event with a few of my friends.
It was a send-off, I think.
Yeah, a send-off for a weekend.
Yeah.
And so you just saw me there, but then a few weeks later, I was sitting at a Starbucks doing some homework, and you just came up to me and you said, "Hey, you know."
I know you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you. Yeah.
I know you from the send-off, and and then we just started talking, exchanged contact information, and then I eventually, a little bit less than 2 weeks ago, I started one of my passion projects, which was to create a movie watch group.
Yeah.
And I invited you to that, and we did that event, but after that event we just started talking, and then you mentioned your idea and passion of doing a podcast, and that was intriguing, and now we're doing it.
I saw an opportunity there with you because when we did the movie night and everything, and then we were discussing the movie, that was pretty awesome. And also, this guy, what was his name? John, I think.
John, the director.
He's a director.
He's an indie director, yeah.
I didn't know that. He was like so outgoing. He was really cool. I just wish he'd stayed more.
Yeah.
And with Joel, he's freaking awesome as well. It was really cool to have that conversation, and that's when it occurred to me. I already had the idea of starting a podcast, and when we were talking, I was like, "Oh my God, this is it!" Like, I think we got something going on right here, and that's why I proposed that, dude. Like, this is my idea that I want to create a podcast. I don't know about what. But this is something, and you were totally on board with it, and I freaking loved it. We gotta invite John to when we have like
Absolutely.
a movie podcast like dedicated.
Absolutely.
And also, tell me.
The fun thing about that night, the movie, everyone was, because after we watched the movie, we discussed about the movie and everything, but then we went into different tangents, right, and just talked about just other stuff,
Exactly.
Whatever it might be, and somewhere in the middle you were like, "This is the podcast.
This is what I'm talking about. God damn it!"
Exactly.
So that's exactly what I had in mind. Like, maybe to start with a conversation and see where this goes. I was mentioning earlier that one of the things, one of the podcasts that I listen to is the Joe Rogan Experience. And I'm sure like everybody has heard of it because it's actually the most popular podcast there is right now. But really, it's a conversation, like you were saying, it's just a conversation, and they talk about this different people, interesting people that he has around. And that's one of the things that I want to focus on I think that we can start here in Atlanta, like right now, you and me, like we both like the film industry. Actually, when I saw you at Starbucks, I was like, hey, this guy is from the men's group. So when I saw you and I told you, yeah, man, what I really want to do is, like I want to start doing videos about, and you told me about what? I don't know, about nothing. I just want to start doing videos. And you were like, send them to me right away. And I'm like, cool. And I like that, like just to explore ideas, to explore things that we can do. And one of them was the videos, the other one was the podcast, and having interesting people around us. So if we could start something here and then go with interesting people around us and with friends. For example, I know Ryan Strachey, one of my friends as well, one of our friends in the group is, I talked to him that, hey man, I'm going to Ashkan's and we're going to do our first podcast, as I told you. And he was like, man, I want to do that. I told you I wanted to start a podcast about, because he's also very, very, focused into dirt biking. He was actually going to be a professional biker.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And anyways, he always talks about that, and we always give him shit about it because he didn't do it. But that's the whole point of doing all these things, is that I don't want them to stay in what ifs. Man.
Yeah, you want them to do and pursue whatever they want to do.
What if I would have done, like a podcast? Oh man, I should have started it. What if I would have done a YouTube channel or whatever? And it's about starting and doing things. We don't know if they're actually going to be good. We don't know where the content is going to go to, because the content is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I did want this to be about nothing.
Right.
Like Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like a show about nothing. Well, I was like,
a show
about nothing.
A show, podcast, or a conversation about nothing is also about everything, right?
Yeah. Because whatever comes up, right? So it's like an actual conversation. So that's usually how like conversation with friends of mine go to. Like we talk about something like whatever for 5 or 10 minutes, but then switch subjects or whatever it might be. You go into different, and that's where we want to go. And for the people that is going to start listening to us in this podcast right now, I wanted to tell them like that you are a student and you're doing your second master's here in Atlanta. That's pretty awesome, because I also want to give context to who you are. Like you're Swedish, Iranian parents, born and raised in Sweden, bachelor's degree and master's, and then your second master's in Atlanta. To be here and work in the U.S., that's what I'm doing. I came here with a job to Atlanta. I really loved it. I really liked it. And when I saw that my project was actually going to start sending people to Mexico, I looked for other opportunities, and fortunately I found other opportunities, to stay here with the working visa and all that.
How long have you been in the U.S. now?
I came here in November 2016.
Okay.
And I will not forget that day, because the day I got here, first of all, I was super happy. I was leaving Mexico in a good way. I was leaving Mexico. I mean, I love Mexico and all, but I had to leave Mexico. I love it. I love my friends, my family. I had to leave it. When I got here, I was super happy that I was starting this new endeavor, this new adventure.
Was it always gonna be the U.S.?
No, I didn't know. I just wanted to leave. Before I got the Atlanta proposal, the job proposal, I was starting to get my documentation and everything ready to do a master's in Germany. Like, I was getting everything ready. And then a friend of mine, Maximus, he's Max, but I call him Maximus. He don't mind. And he was like, hey, I'm going to recommend you to this job. So he recommended me to the job in Atlanta. And I studied my butt off to get selected in the job position and everything. I got it, and the first day I saw Max, I went to my hotel, and then it turned out that it was Max's birthday, the day that I came here to Atlanta.
Right.
So my first day, I got to the hotel, I was there with like 13 other people that we just got there to Atlanta. We got drunk, and from there we went to a club, and I saw Max. I was like, hey man, how you doing? Like, welcome to Atlanta. And we got more drunk, and it was pretty awesome. That was my first day in Atlanta. Awesome. How long have you been here, man?
Well, it's about to be 2 years now in August. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that I have a master's already in Sweden. I have a bachelor and master's in political science. Political science. So I got my master's degree in 2017, and I had lived abroad before, but I've mainly been in Sweden my entire life. That's where I grew up, and I haven't really done anything as big as moving somewhere permanently like I have now in the US. But I did live in Thailand for 6 months before. That was in 2016. Yeah. So I did an internship for the Embassy of Sweden as a part of my master's degree. I had like a 1 semester window where I could choose to do an internship in Sweden, which was boring to me. I want to take that opportunity to just try stuff abroad. So I got this internship in Thailand, in Bangkok, Thailand.
Did you meet girls in Thailand?
Did I?
Did you meet girls?
Oh yeah.
Are you sure there were girls?
Yes. I'm sure there were girls. I can tell you though, there are. If you go to some places in Bangkok, they might look like girls, but there are might be some other stuff under there.
I've heard. I mean, I've been told. I don't know about that. I've just been told about it. I don't know. Friends of friends. A lot of Mexican friends.
They have personal experience with.
I don't know. I mean,
girls who are not girls.
That's what they told me, man.
I gotcha.
But anyways, you were there.
Yeah, I was there doing
6 months, right?
Doing my 6 month internship at the best time of my life.
Right.
And wanted to stay. Actually, I did even get an offer to stay in Thailand to work there. But I chose to go back to Sweden to finish my master's thesis and just be done with it, so that it's not, I did not want a thesis lingering while I'm doing other stuff, because then it's going to get harder to get back into studies. So I did that, moved back to Sweden, finished my master's. Then when I finished my master's, I was like, well, now what? I want to go out. I want to go abroad again. And my dream was always to come to the US as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, my dream was always to move to the US.
Yeah. Why as a dream? Like, because it was did you see it as a pinnacle of something?
Yeah. So me being a lonely child, I don't have any brothers or sisters, no siblings at all. American movies and American pop culture was a big part of my life, like a really big part of my life. So just having that as my childhood really inspired me and gave me this longing of always wanting to come here, not as a tourist, but actually try and live here, and at some point pursuing to work in the movie business. And I just had that. I've always had that in the back of my head. So now that I finished my master's, I just started applying for internships in the US, and I got one in Atlanta at the Swedish American Chambers of Commerce.
Hells yeah!
All thanks to my master's degree in political science, and then I just moved here as an unpaid intern. Imagine that, being unpaid in Atlanta, Georgia, for 6 months.
Holy moly.
So that was a struggle. But,
struggle for your parents.
Struggle for my parents, for sure. And
but very grateful. I mean, that's awesome. I mean,
that was my gateway.
This is where you wanted to be.
This is where I want to be. I had to take that opportunity, because if you don't, other things comes up, job opportunities, you meet a girl and whatnot. But I took it, and that 6 month internship led to a different job with a tech company that I'm working at.
Right.
at right now.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that right now you're doing IT.
Right now I'm doing IT for a software development startup.
Yeah.
And I'm still there. And so 2 years.
You know, that's awesome. This is exactly one of the things that I wanted to talk about. It just happens to be a coincidence that we are both immigrants. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm an immigrant from Mexico, you're an immigrant from Sweden, from the European Union, and you know the struggle to be here.
Absolutely.
You know the struggle because it is. I was talking. I don't think I've told you, but my oldest brother lives in Germany, and the not so older brother, which is older than me, he lives in Mexico. But the other brother, he went through shit to go to Germany because that was his dream. His dream was to be in Germany since he was very young. And my dream was to leave Mexico all the time, always. Like, I was already bilingual and fluent and everything since before I knew that I wanted to leave. It was inside me that I wanted to leave. And with you, it was like you were trying to pursue the film industry. And this is where we are right now. And our paths, that's one of the things that I like, that our paths were not easy. And they're not going to be any easier anytime soon.
No, absolutely not.
And a lot of people that, that are in Mexico, in my case, that you might see that in your Swedish friends, of course, your Swedish, everyone that is over there in Sweden. Is it Swedish or Swede?
So Swedish is the language. Swede is like referring to Joel, like
right, the people.
The people, yeah.
Okay, so the Swede or people and everything, they all think that you have it so easy, and that he's doing so good because he's in the U.S. Oh my God, like he has it so easy. He doesn't have to worry about anything. But they really don't know. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. It's a real struggle, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like we work our butts off double than everybody else, even though that they think that we, again, because let's say that I'm not saying that we have everything, because that is not true. I'm just saying that we are where we want to be.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah, we're here because of a choice.
Yes. And not only a choice, but because we worked for that choice. Like, we worked for that. Like, we worked our asses off to get here. And it's still a struggle. It is still a struggle every day. And because when I talk to, let's not say friends, acquaintances in Mexico, in Facebook and stuff.
Sure.
And they see, you're in Atlanta. You must love it over there. Hey, like, do they treat you well because you're Mexican? Like all those kind of comments. Like, it's very uncomfortable for me to receive all those comments. And they think it's so easy, but it's not. And that's one of the things that I don't want to go off a lot, but that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you as well, because it's been like that. And let me go back to the film industry thing. Have you watched Stranger Things?
I have. I'm not completely done with the last season. I'm in the middle of the season 3, but
did they kill? Nah, I'm just I'm not gonna spoil it. I hate spoilers.
You've seen it all?
No, I've seen it all, man, like 3 times.
I got you.
I'm insulted.
I got you.
I was going to say that you remember the character Hopper, which is the policeman.
The policeman.
Well,
one of my favorites.
Hopper, yeah. No, he's a fan favorite, man. So this guy in real life, I'm not sure how old he is. He must be in early 40s,
sure,
mid 40s. So his first acting gig was at 37 years old.
Oh, really?
And right now he did Stranger Things, he did Hellboy, and he's got a few other movies that I saw the other day.
I've recognized him from many movies. He's got a recognizable face.
Right, he's got a very recognizable face. He's got a big beard right now because he's gonna be in the MCU.
He's going to be in Marvel movies.
You haven't seen that? He's going to be in the Eternals movie.
Awesome.
I think the Eternals. He's going to be in the new Phase 4 of the MCU. And I'm a geek. Dude, we have to do a podcast about MCU.
Trust me, I'm MCU. Like the biggest movie, comic book nerd. Like, trust me, if you would see my room,
Yeah.
like my room back home in Sweden, I'm talking about like a bookshelf with just
That's awesome.
Blu-rays, posters, collector's edition. Like, I'm like the biggest geek ever. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Man, in my room right now, in my where I have, where I put my computer and my screen and everything, on the top I have a big Avengers Endgame popcorn
Oh, really?
thing, and I have an Avengers poster, and man, I love that shit. I really do. And I think in my 20s I used to be like a little embarrassed about it, or I would not say it. But right now in my 30s, I don't give a crap. And I actually sometimes, and I'm sorry, but sometimes, I avoid people to when I want to see an MCU movie, a Marvel movie. It's like, this, like the new Spider-Man movie. Instead of going with friends and stuff, I go by myself, man.
Dude, I've gone
I want to
so
enjoy
many
the
movies.
game, the movie.
Here's a curious thing. So when I lived in Sweden, I would never go to the movies by myself. For some reason, that it's like weird in Sweden to do that.
It's a social thing. Yeah, in Mexico too.
It's a social thing. Here, it's like completely normal.
But did you know that I don't think it's because we're in the U.S.
Okay.
I think it's because we are by ourselves here and we can be ourselves.
It's a good point.
It's very different.
Because I've done it so many times.
Yeah,
like,
I've done it here too.
I watched Star Wars by myself on the premiere. Like,
and I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it too. That's exactly what I'm doing here. And the thing is that in Mexico, for example, for me, which is going to be similar to you, is that we have our friends and the society. And are you going to the movies alone? Oh my God. Why are you doing that? Oh my God, poor you. Let me go with you. I don't like the movie, but I'll go with you so you don't go alone. I fucking hate that. It's not that they say it that way, but it's like
looking down
say
at
like,
you, wanting to
exactly like
spend time with yourself.
You went to the movies by yourself? Oh, okay. That attitude, Jesus Christ.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to leave Mexico. Because I wanted a place where I could be myself.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example. I want to go to the movies and not be judged. And
Absolutely.
where I come from, Mexico is very conservative. I'm not sure about Sweden, you'll tell me.
Yeah.
But Mexico is very conservative. It's very, very traditional, and it doesn't want to let you go out of the bubble. If I could say it in some words, but for the lack of words, I cannot find them.
I got you.
But that's how it is in Mexico.
You grew up in a certain way, and you have a tradition, you have a history, and you need to follow. And
society is very pinches chismosos. It's like gossip, man. It's gossip. It's like talk about people. They talk about people.
Right.
And I always hated that.
You never really felt free, I suppose.
No. And I did my own. I did talk about a lot of people, but it's not cool. And here, I don't know if you noticed with your American friends or with the American people that I know, is like with my friends actually, we don't talk about people, man. And that for me is fascinating. That for me is liberating. It's freedom.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, to Sweden, and I would say that it's the opposite of conservative. It's very
liberal.
It's a socialistic society. Everything is equal. Yeah. It's mostly left-oriented. Yeah, liberal. It's very free that way. It's not a lot of.
Is religion big?
Religion is not. So that was the word I was looking for. Yeah, there's not a lot of. I mean, there are Christian people and religious people, but that's not a part of society. Like that's, like you mentioned Mexico, but even here as well. Like people are at certain point tradition. Yeah. There's a big tradition of Christianity here in this country, and so on. Yeah. In Sweden, it's kind of the opposite. They're more agnostic or atheists than religious people over there.
Does that make life easier?
Not to me.
Okay.
Not to me.
Yeah.
Which is also one of the reasons, maybe not, which is maybe not the reason why I'm the U.S. per se, because the U.S. was because of my dream, but one of the reasons why I wanted to leave Sweden was because it's very consolidated. It's even though it's free in a certain way, it's almost like you're in a box, and it's difficult to get out of the box. It's difficult to grow. You're kind of in a system. Like you go to university, you get your degree, and then you go to work. Either you work for the government.
Education is free, of course.
Education is free, and the benefits are amazing. Because I mean, it's a socialistic society. It's not capitalism like here. So all of those things are good, but it's just something that's missing for me. Like I just feel like I don't have what I need in Sweden to pursue what I really want to.
I think you mentioned it pretty well. You said something about the box. You want to be outside the box. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, of course, man. And I mean, I don't know much about Sweden. I haven't been there from what you're telling me, but also from what I've seen is that it's like you got your life pretty much planned. Like you got your life pretty much, you have the paths.
Yeah.
The path. You have the path and you just follow it, and I mean, it works.
It works if that's what you want to do and you're 100% sure of what you want to do. But if you're not, then it's going to get difficult to get away from that and completely start a new path. In Sweden, I mean. We're here, no, you have all the opportunities in the world. Like literally it's the land of the free, right?
You also have the freedom to be in the streets.
So that's the thing. So you don't have the protection that you have in a socialistic society like Sweden. So if I have a job in Sweden and I get fired, I'm still covered. Like
you got money,
I'm still covered, and they will pay me salary for like 5 or 6 months. Like
I think more.
Maybe even more. Like, and I have time to go and find a new job. There's always a protection here.
A safety net.
A safety net here. Either you make it and have a job, or you're outside on the streets. There's no in between, right? I mean,
or you drive Uber or Lyft, man.
Right. Uber or Lyft or what, like, but you have to work. Otherwise, there's no safety net. Like you have to do it. And
there's no safety net in the U.S.
And the benefits here are expensive. So
they're expensive, but I think it's rewarding. I think everything that you're trying to say, or you're saying, I'm sorry, is that like the struggle is there's a reward. Like it's very rewarding when you start making it. When you actually. I'm not saying that the American dream has to make you a millionaire. I don't think that's what the American dream is about. I think the American dream is more about living a good life, above average, I think. But everyone has different standards. Everyone has a different agenda. Everyone has a different... for somebody who millions are very, very good, for someone else is not gonna be. For someone else is gonna be, I don't care about the millions. I just want to do what I want.
Right.
And something I talk about a lot with the passengers that get in my car, for example, is that here in the U.S., the big difference with many other countries is that there's a market for everything. That's crazy. It's crazy how there's a market for everything. If I tell you right now that I want to sell rings for your keys, like the metal ring, if I manage to create a proper business model and I get like the correct plan and do it and
you'll find people who will buy it.
Exactly. You'll make a good business, and that's crazy. And that was maybe a dumb example, but in the U.S. there's a market for everything. Like they'll buy everything, because in the U.S. it's not that everyone is rich, because that's not true, but everyone has money. Like like the money flows a lot. So people have money to spend all the time. Of course, people spend it sometimes in the wrong way. Sometimes people save it. Sometimes people invest it. I'm not saying what they do with it. I'm just saying they have it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And when they have it, they create more opportunities to the people that create businesses, sell things, open restaurants and whatever. And I find it very interesting. I find it very cool. Yeah. I really like that about the U.S. I didn't see myself in the past living in the U.S., but I did see myself, looking for a better place where I could,
You want to stay here? That's the goal.
I want to stay. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I want to stay. Yeah. What's your plan?
Yeah, that's definitely the plan. Like, I'm on a path to stay here permanently. Like, I'm not sure if that will be my plan when I'm in my 40s, or
we don't know where life is gonna take us.
Right. But right now, this is where I want to be, and I want to make it here, and we're both on the path to be able to do that.
I think we're both on the same path, man. Just different things that, let's say, I think it's the same objective but different path. I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know where my life is gonna take me to.
Yeah.
If I gotta stay in the U.S., that'll be great. If I go to Europe or something for some reason, I'd love that too. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just have to enjoy the time, and what I'm doing. You gotta stop and smell the flowers.
Yeah, you have
stop and smell the flowers.
Right, exactly. You have to. Can't just be thinking about the future and the long-term goals. You have to actually, just like you said, smell the flowers. So think about now.
Stop and smell the flowers.
Actually enjoy life now, because if you don't, then you're just waiting for something, and then you're gonna look back and be like, "What the fuck did I do?" During these, I was just in misery, and
Yeah.
And you have to enjoy the process.
Yeah, I know, and as much as I love Mexico, I would love to go back to Mexico with a business, with my own business, like not having to work for somebody.
Yeah.
That's how I would go back to Mexico.
So you would have a business here in the U.S. and you would open up. You'd
either here
that.
or there or both, okay. But I have to be my own employer.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And so, man, we have 2 more minutes, man. I think this is a good start. This is a good start that we got, man.
I think so. We did it. I mean,
it's the first step.
Yeah.
It's the first step. Just to like, the first step is the most important one, and that's what you got to do, man.
What's your, just on top of your head, what's some ideas floating in your head? Topics that are close to you.
Topics that are close to me.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about, for example, fights and the UFC. I love that. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the MCU.
Yeah.
I want to talk about those movies.
Not as much of the DCEU.
I love all movies.
Okay, I got you.
I love all movies.
I got you.
All superhero movies. So I would love to talk about the MCU and the DC, but the MCU is better organized.
Yeah, definitely.
I like to talk about our lives in the US.
Sure.
But that can be more sporadic.
Yeah.
But talking about other movies, for example, I saw here with your club a movie that I would not watch by myself.
Right.
A horror movie.
Right.
I fucking hate horror movies.
But it was a fucking good movie.
Yes, but I fucking hate them.
I gotcha.
So I would like, those are the topics out of my head. What about yours?
And Trump.
Trump. What are the no, of course. I'm definitely willing to talk about politics. And the first Trump was kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Just to get people rattled.
Yeah.
But I don't mind, and I would love to talk to people like that. One thing about politics, and don't worry about the time because I got more time over there. One thing about politics is very important, that it is not my objective to change anyone's mind, because if you think that you're going to change anyone's mind with arguments and stuff like that, you're just going to start a never-ending debate,
Right.
which is pointless. The sharing of ideas is good as long as it's not, like me, fuck Trump. That is not an idea I would share with a conservative. I would not do that, because you want to be respectful and all.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about politics, and you and I, we have a lot of conservative friends in our group of friends.
Yeah.
We have a lot of conservative friends, and I think that would be cool. And I would emphasize a lot on not trying to change someone else's mind. You can express what you want, but don't
share ideas.
Get
an understanding of their point of view, right?
Exactly. It's very valid.
They support Trump, which I don't, but if they do, then understand why they're doing that, and because you'll just be more knowledgeable, right, about just their point of view about who they are and why they have those beliefs. It will just enrich in you, because then you'll just have that. It's a different aspect of it.
Yeah.
I might not agree with it, but
Absolutely.
at least I'll know more.
And as long as it's not a debate, as long as it's not a discussion, if it's a conversation, it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
What topics do you have in mind, man?
So, obviously fighting, like you said, I'm a big fighting, fan. I watch fights, UFC, boxing, all of that. A lot. Movies in general, I'm a big superhero movie fan, but just movies in general. I obviously have a movie group now, so that's a big interest of mine. You mentioned politics, but also just random stuff that come up, in everyday life.
I think the cooler stuff that is gonna come up that we don't know about yet, is gonna be with other people.
Right.
Like Strachey, like the one that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He wants to come and just, screw it, man. Let's do an episode of with him, and talk about the things that he wants and stuff. And when somebody else comes, like let's say John is gonna bring a lot to the table. He's an indie movie director. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
And then and from there.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Absolutely.
I just want to make this constant.
His experience of just being on a movie set and so on, all that is good.
Cool, man. So let's bring this to an end, man.
Absolutely.
Ashkan, man, thank you for letting me use your home.
And you for introducing the idea. It was fun.
Awesome. All right.